You wouldn't understand what it's like to be invisible. Not literally, of course, but the kind of invisible where people look straight through you like you're nothing. Too skinny, they'd say. Too weak. My arms looked like twigs. My ribs were always on display, and no matter how much I tried, extra meals, protein powders, gym sessions, I stayed the same.
You need to eat a burger or 10.
They'd joke, laughing at my expense. Every comment was a needle pricking at my pride. I wanted to shut them up, to make them see me as something more. That's how I ended up scrolling through shady forums at 2 a.m, looking for answers. Anything to help me gain weight, to bulk up fast. One thread caught my attention. Pumping air for a perfect body. I pressed, skeptical but desperate. The post was from someone called Body Mod Maniac, claiming to have perfected a method to gain weight and volume without fat. The trick? Injecting a mix of air and silicone beneath the skin. No gym, no calories, just precision and results. The before and after photos were shocking. Skeletal arms turned muscular, hollow cheeks filled out to chiseled jawlines. It was too good to be true, but my desperation drowned out my doubt. I ordered the supplies the next morning. Syringes, medical-grade silicone, and sterilizers. When the package arrived, my hands shook with excitement and fear. I set everything up in my cramped bathroom, triple-checking the instructions. The first injection went into my thigh, just a tiny amount, barely a puff. My heart pounded as I watched the silicone bubble beneath my skin, spreading evenly. For a second, I panicked. What if it got infected? What if something went wrong? But by the next morning, the panic was gone, replaced by awe. My thigh looked fuller, stronger, like I'd been doing squats for months. I couldn't stop touching it, marveling at how perfect it felt. I wanted more. Watching myself transform was intoxicating. People started noticing. "You've been hitting the gym, huh?" they'd say. "Looking good, man." For the first time in my life, I felt seen. I felt powerful. But there was a catch. The air didn't stay. After a couple of days, the fullness would fade, and I'd have to inject more. It wasn't a problem, though. I had plenty of silicone left. I started a routine, daily injections to maintain my new physique. I was careful at first, but the compliments kept coming, and I craved that validation. So I increased the doses, pumping more into my arms, my chest, my legs. That's when things started to change. One morning I woke up feeling off. My chest felt tight and my skin itched like it was stretched too thin. I looked in the mirror and froze. My body was bloated. Not just full, but unnaturally round. My biceps were too large, my chest too inflated. I looked like a caricature of myself. Panic set in. I grabbed a syringe, trying to deflate the excess air, but nothing came out. The silicone had hardened, sealed inside me. I told myself it was fine. I just needed to be more careful, to manage the doses better. But deep down, I knew I'd gone too far. I couldn't stop. Each day I felt the air pushing against my skin, begging for release. But instead of stopping, I doubled down. I needed to maintain my perfect image, no matter the cost. Then, one night, it happened. I was injecting my stomach when I felt a sharp pain, like a balloon stretched to its limit. My skin bulged grotesquely, veins popping out in dark blue lines. I stumbled back, gasping for air, as my chest rose unnaturally high. My body felt light. I tried to steady myself, but my feet barely touched the floor. The lightness turned into weightlessness, and before I knew it, I was floating. I clawed at the walls, desperate to ground myself, but my body lifted higher, pulling me toward the ceiling. My skin stretched painfully, every inch of me puffed up like a grotesque balloon. I crashed through the window into the cold night air. The city lights blurred below me as I rose higher and higher, the wind whipping against my bloated skin. I screamed, but no one could hear me. My body swelled with each passing second, the pressure building inside me. My joints ached, my chest burned, and my vision blurred. And then... And finally, the dish you've all been waiting for is here. Today, I'm taking on the challenge of eating this giant pudding in just one gulp. Join me and let's dig in together. I'm Elliot, a pretty well-known mukbanger on YouTube, famous for my ability to devour anything with my big mouth. I slowly swallowed the massive pudding down. Honestly, it was a bit too much for me. Feeling the pudding slide down my throat, stuffing me full, and getting stuck halfway made me want to stop right there, but I had to keep going. This is the only job I've got. Finally, I did it. I beamed at the camera, waving to thank my audience as donations and compliments poured in through the screen. After the live stream ended, I rushed to the bathroom before the giant pudding could come back up. Today's meal was a bit too much for me. After throwing up everything I ate, I felt utterly drained. My jaw ached, and my lips and throat were swollen. The sour stench rising from my stomach made me want to vomit again. Sometimes, I feel like this mukbang job is turning my body into a food disposal machine. Eat, then throw up, never keeping anything down. But being a mukbanger has made me famous and earns me a lot of money. I have a comfortable life without needing to take on any kind of desk job. So, I choose to overlook the minor harm this job does to my body because I believe I'm still young, healthy, and nothing too serious will happen. To keep a steady fan base, I post mukbang videos almost every day. I carefully capture every chewing, biting, and sipping sound, creating the perfect ASMR effect that gets everyone excited. But once the camera is off, it's my own ASMR of screams as I spend hours stuck in the bathroom. Yet I keep eating, and eating more, because my job is to make everyone feel like food tastes better. Even though I regularly throw up all the food after each live session, my stomach has been growing abnormally large. It feels a bit bloated, but it's not too uncomfortable. My persistence in uploading videos consistently has paid off. My subscriber count has skyrocketed, and along with it, the money I make keeps growing. I'm ashamed to admit that my weight has spiraled out of control. Getting dressed feels like fighting a battle. Tonight, an influencer invited me to attend a Christmas party. This is the first time I will be interacting with people in the industry, and I feel a bit nervous. I tried to appear relaxed, naturally chatting with the people around me. When the music started playing, I immersed myself in the crowd, enjoying the fun as I had always wished. But at that moment, my heart started beating fast to the rhythm of the music, my belly fat jiggling, and my stomach contracting violently. A severe pain hit me, causing my vision to darken. I collapsed to the floor, unconscious. When I opened my eyes, I was already in the hospital, my whole body limp and weak.
You have a stomach hemorrhage and fatty blood. You need to adjust your diet immediately if you want to continue living.
I nodded perfunctorily, his tone making me uncomfortable. I am a mukbanger. How can I eat normally? If I don't stream for too long, I'll lose fans, lose my income, and lose everything. I happened to see a clip of myself fainting at the party last night. Many fans sent messages asking about my well-being. So how can I rest in the hospital? I smiled and typed a reassuring message to everyone. Hello to all my beloved fans. To show my gratitude for your support, tonight I will be hosting a special live stream that will last until New Year's Eve. A live stream featuring traditional dishes from various countries for the new year. And the 10-hour countdown starts now. After spending one day in the hospital, I immediately found a way to escape and began preparing for this special live stream. 5 hours passed, and I tried to eat and chat leisurely, but the amount of food was truly overwhelming. 9.5 hours passed, and my mouth was so sore, it almost lost feeling. My stomach was bloated like a balloon, hard as a rock. But I encouraged myself. There was only one dish left. I was sure I could do it. And here is the most exciting dish of the night: a stuffed pork leg. Without making you wait any longer, let's swallow this together to welcome the explosive moment of New Year's Eve. My wide mouth could encompass the pork leg, but as it went down my narrow throat, it filled my entire throat. I struggled to breathe, tears involuntarily streaming down. Hang in there, Elliot. Just a little more and this challenge will be over. At that moment, the countdown to New Year's Eve outside began. 10, 9, 8, 7. My stomach twisted with each count. Then I heard a loud bang coming from inside my own body. Outside, fireworks were exploding, and I vaguely heard the sound of an ambulance siren. Could it be that a fan called 911 for me? I must look terrible right now, right? My consciousness faded until I couldn't think anymore.
I had always envied those Instagram models with their big, sparkling eyes. The way their gaze seemed to captivate anyone, it was mesmerizing. So when I got the chance to try colored contact lenses, I leapt at it. It was my first time, and I'll admit, the idea of touching my eyeball made me queasy. But for beauty, I could bear it. Standing in front of the mirror, I practiced holding my eyelid open, the small lens perched delicately on my fingertip. My first attempt failed. My reflexes forced my eyelid shut. "You can do this," I whispered to my reflection. After several tries, the lens finally slipped into place. I blinked rapidly, tears streaming down my face, but when I opened my eyes, I gasped. My reflection stared back with eyes that looked impossibly. Partially obscuring my pupil. It gave the eerie illusion that I had two pupils in one eye. "Great," I muttered. I grabbed the bottle of eye drops and tilted my head back, squeezing a generous amount into my right eye. The cool liquid was a temporary relief, and I reached up, trying to pinch the lens out. But it wouldn't budge. It felt slippery under my fingers, sliding further to the side each time I tried to grab it. My eye throbbed as I poked and prodded, desperate to dislodge it. "Come on!" I hissed, tears streaming down my face. Instead of coming out, the lens seemed to retreat, slipping deeper under my eyelid. Panic set in as my vision in that eye blurred. The skin around it felt swollen, and a dull, radiating pain started to build. By noon, the entire area was red and puffy. My eye burned, and each blink felt like scraping sandpaper. Defeated, I called an eye doctor. The clinic smelled like antiseptic, and the harsh fluorescent lights made my migraine worse. The doctor's calm demeanor did little to soothe my nerves.
You've got quite a bit of swelling.
He said after examining my eye.
I'll try to remove the lens, but you might need more extensive treatment if it's embedded too deeply.
His words sent a shiver down my spine. Embedded? I sat rigid as he used a specialized tool to extract the lens from my left eye. Relief washed over me as the first lens came out, but then his frown deepened.
Well,
The doctor said after a few minutes.
I managed to retrieve one lens.
He held up the tiny, translucent piece of plastic, now smeared with redness.
But the other one, it's deep. We'll need more advanced tools to get it out.
My stomach dropped. Isn't there another way? Something less invasive? He shook his head.
Leaving it in can lead to severe infection or even permanent damage. I strongly recommend we proceed.
The words permanent damage echoed in my mind, but so did the thought of medical bills. I had seen people online remove lenses themselves. If they could do it, so could I. Thank you, doctor, I mumbled, grabbing my bag. I'll think about it. Back home, I sat in front of my mirror, armed with a pair of tweezers and determination. My right eye was almost swollen shut, but I pried it open, wincing as fresh tears streamed down. I carefully inserted the tweezers, trying to grab the edge of the lens. Every touch sent waves of pain through my skull, but I couldn't stop. The discomfort only fueled my desperation. Just a little more, I muttered, my voice trembling. The tweezers slipped, scraping against the sensitive surface of my eye. A sharp pain made me cry out, but I kept going. My hands were slick with sweat, my vision blurred from the constant flow of tears. Or was it blood? Finally, I felt the edge of the lens. I pulled and it slid free with a sickening squelch. Triumph was short-lived. When I looked down at my hand, my stomach churned. The lens wasn't alone. Attached to it was something round, fleshy and glistening. A bulbous lump of tissue hung limply from the tweezers. I froze, my heart hammering in my chest. My right eye was gone. In its place was a dark, gaping socket, raw and glistening with blood. It was as if my entire eye had been pulled out along with the lens. No! No, no, no! I dropped the eye in panic. Dropping to my knees, I searched frantically for my dislodged eye. I glanced around, searching for the eye I had dropped, but the dim light played tricks on me, casting shadows that made my stomach churn. Where was it? My fingers skimmed the cold tiles until they brushed against something round and slick. I grabbed it, holding it tightly in my palm. I had to fix it. Maybe if I put it back quickly, it wouldn't be too late.
When I first started working at La Belle Cuisine, I thought I had a chance to prove myself in the world of high-end culinary arts. But dreams have a way of souring in the harsh reality of kitchen life. Instead of plating delicate entrees or learning the secrets of fine sauces, I found myself relegated to gorying task. Peeling mountains of potatoes. The kitchen's damp environment seeped into my skin, turning it rough, scabbed, and unrecognizable. Chef Laurent was the worst. His booming voice echoed through the kitchen, barking orders and criticisms with no regard for who was in his path. I was his favorite target.
Paul!
He bellowed one afternoon, slamming a wooden spoon on the counter.
Even a monkey could peel faster than you. Are your hands broken?
The other cooks laughed. My cheeks burned, but I kept my head down, fingers trembling as I worked the peeler. Every day was the same. The final straw came during a staff tasting. I'd spent weeks experimenting with recipes after hours, crafting a dish I hoped would finally earn me some recognition. When Laurent announced a tasting session, I seized the opportunity and presented my creation, foie gras. Laurent took one bite and spat into the dish.
Garbage!
He declared.
Stick to peeling potatoes. That's all you're good for.
Laughter erupted again, louder this time. My vision blurred with tears, but I swallowed them back. I smiled and nodded, but inside, something cracked. That night, alone in the kitchen, I stared at the pile of peelings I'd left unfinished. The steel glint of the peeler caught my eye, and my reflection stared back, warped and jagged. Then Laurent's voice echoed in my head.
Stick to peeling.
I'd been slaving for months, bending over backward for Laurent, only to be humiliated time and time again. If all he saw in me was someone to scrape and discard, maybe I'd give him exactly that. I threw myself into peeling, my knife flashing through tuber after tuber, sweat dripping from my brow onto the growing mound of mashed potatoes. My hands, calloused from relentless labor, began to ache. Without realizing it, the blade slipped, slicing through one of the hardened calluses on my palm. The sliver of skin fell onto the pile of potatoes, almost indistinguishable from the starchy flesh. I froze, staring at the tiny piece of myself nestled among the mash. An idea took root in my mind, grotesque yet irresistible. What if? Driven by exhaustion and a twisted sense of rebellion, I picked up the peeler. Slowly, deliberately, I shaved off another patch of rough skin. The pain was sharp but fleeting, and the satisfaction of reclaiming control was exhilarating. I examined it, transfixed. It was almost poetic, the way my own body could be reduced to nothing but scraps, just like the potatoes, just like Laurent wanted. I mixed the pieces into the mash, seasoning it with salt, pepper, and herbs. The next day, the dish was a hit. Customers raved about the unique depth of the mashed potatoes, praising Laurent for his ingenuity. He basked in the accolades, his chest puffed out with pride, while I stood in the shadows, silently savoring my secret. But the praise didn't change my position. Laurent continued to belittle me, taking full credit for the dishes I prepared. Oddly though, I no longer felt humiliated when peeling potatoes. That night, I stood in front of the mirror, peeling tool in hand. The first time had been an act of rage, but now it felt like power. The kitchen became my domain of transformation. My worsening skin condition provided ample material to mix into the potatoes. Scabs, patches of dry skin, even the occasional drop of blood, all found their way into the mash. With each strip of skin I removed, I felt lighter, freer. I was no longer just Paul, the potato peeler, the kitchen grunt. I'd gather the strips, mix them into the batch of mashed potatoes. I was the secret ingredient, the thing that made their meals unforgettable. The restaurant's reputation soared. Laurent basked in the glory, oblivious to the true source of his newfound success. But my body didn't heal the way I expected. Where I'd peeled, the skin didn't grow back. Instead, strange, pale patches emerged, soft and glistening like raw fish. The pain became a constant hum, but it didn't matter. The dishes were all that mattered. Then, one night, as I prepared another dish, Laurent burst into the kitchen, red-faced.
What is this?
He demanded, slamming a bowl onto the counter. I froze. The broth shimmered with an oily sheen, and tiny pale fragments floated to the surface, pieces I hadn't chopped finely enough.
Explain yourself!
He he roared, grabbing my arm. His grip tightened, pulling up my sleeve. The bandages unraveled, revealing the patchwork of raw flesh beneath. His eyes widened in horror.
What have you done?
He whispered, his voice barely audible over the pounding of my heart. I smiled, the first genuine smile I'd felt in months. I've been giving you what you wanted, chef. A piece of me in every dish. Laurent stumbled back, clutching his stomach. His face turned pale as the realization hit. The critic, the patrons, the accolades, all built on the foundation of my sacrifice. He retched, the sound echoing through the silent kitchen. I turned back to the cutting board, the peeler gleaming under the fluorescent lights. There was still so much more to give. I know how this sounds. I really do. But before you judge me, just hear me out. I'm not insane. I'm just devoted. Sydney Sweetie isn't just some actress to me. She's a living myth. The last real star in a sea of filters and AI-generated fame. Her smile feels like warmth after frostbite. Her voice lingers in your head hours after an interview ends. She's flawless, but not plastic. She's there, raw and real, just far enough out of reach to keep you dreaming. I never missed a post. A new role, a red carpet look, an interview where she'd push hair behind her ear. I memorized it all. She was my ideal, my muse, my impossible maybe. She made me feel wild. So when I saw the announcement that Sydney had partnered with Dr. Squeech to release a limited edition soap, Bathwater Blizz, made with her actual bathwater, I thought it was a joke, a marketing stunt. But it wasn't. Only 5,000 bars made, limited to one per customer, launching June 6th at 10 a.m. sharp. I prepared like I was buying tickets to heaven. 3 alarms, 2 browsers open, a full cup of coffee and my credit card memorized. It sold out in under 60 seconds. I stared at the screen, disbelief morphing into panic. I'd missed my only chance. No way. I refreshed eBay like a gambler with a hot hand. 10 minutes later, boom, one real listing. Factory sealed, verified, $300. I waited 3 days. Every hour crawled. When it arrived, the box was a soft, aquatic blue, clean and minimalist. Bathwater Blizz, limited edition, was printed in crisp white, centered beneath a silver water droplet that seemed to shimmer faintly, like it was watching me. The moment I cracked it open, the scent hit me like a dream colliding with reality. Floral, but not fake. Creamy, but not sugary. Something clean. Something salty. Something alive. The bar was smooth, glossy, almost too perfect to touch. I ran my fingers across it like it might sing. Then I leaned in, slowly, and breathed it in. The world stopped. I saw her. Not in the room, not exactly. Maybe in my head, clear as glass. Sydney, damp hair clinging to her cheeks, water trickling down her face, eyes soft and searching. She didn't smile. She didn't move. She just looked at me. Then she was gone. Just a flash, like sunlight in your eyes. I stumbled back a step, blinking hard. My hand still gripped the soap like a relic. My pulse thumped through my fingertips. She was real. That moment was real. I had to try it. I drew a bath, water hot enough to fog the mirror. I didn't like candles or play music. I wanted silence. I wanted her. The soap lathered with ease, thick and pearlescent, like it melted into me. The scent swelled in the heat, enveloping everything. It was like she was there. Not as a ghost, as a presence, something intelligent, watching. I sat still. My mind drifted. The foam wrapped my arms, clung to my chest, ran between my fingers like silk, and with every pass of the soap, the scent grew deeper, denser. My thoughts unraveled. I wasn't alone. A pressure formed just behind me, gentle but real, like someone brushing past in a crowd. I froze. The water rippled. Breath touched the nape of my neck.
You've wanted this.
Someone whispered. I couldn't speak. My mind was buzzing and numb all at once. I stayed there for a long time. When I finally stood up, my skin tingled. The scent clung to me like a second skin. I pressed the bar to my chest. I couldn't put it down. I didn't dry off. I didn't get dressed. I walked straight to bed, still damp, still holding it. Sleep took me instantly. I woke up in a fog. My sheets were damp. My hands still gripped the soap like I'd clutched it all night. Then came the itch. First on my forearm, then my ribs, my scalp, my thighs. I sat up, confused, scratching, looked down. My skin was covered in small red bumps, raised and inflamed. I stumbled into the bathroom, turned on the light. The bumps moved. I leaned closer. My stomach flipped. On the surface of one, just one, I saw a tiny, perfectly formed face. Delicate cheekbones, full lips, wide eyes, her face. I yelped and staggered back, nearly falling into the tub. But curiosity pulled me forward again. More bumps, more faces. They stared at me, silent. Some smiled, some frowned, some just watched. My heart pounded like a drum. I turned on the faucet and shoved the soap under it, lathering until my skin went raw. But the bumps didn't fade. They pulsed. They multiplied. I rubbed harder. My arms bled. Still they smiled. Then the lights flickered. The mirror fogged without heat. No steam. Just cold breath on glass. And she was there. Sydney. Not a vision. Not a reflection. Something else. She sat in a dark tub, green water rising to her collarbone. Her skin was smooth and wet, but her eyes were wrong. Too wide. Too empty. She opened her mouth.
You wanted a part of me. Now I'm taking what's mine.
I blinked. She was closer. The soap slipped from my hand. I couldn't move. Fingertips pressed against my spine. A voice purred into my ear.
Let me clean you. Let me purify you.
I didn't resist. I couldn't. Her hands dragged the soap across my arms, my chest, my face. Her voice lilted with venom.
You bought me like a product, a souvenir. You wore my scent like a second skin. How does it feel? Using a woman's bath water?
Her voice was soft, but it slithered down my spine like ice.
Do you feel powerful now?
She pressed her fingers into my sores. They burst like blisters, oozing heat and sound, whispers. I heard her memories. Casting calls, harsh lights, men's voices, clinical and cruel.
Smile wider.
Lose 5 pounds.
Don't talk unless you're asked.
And always, you're perfect. You're perfect. You're perfect.
Men like you.
She leaned close, her voice turning bitter, acidic.
You're all the same. Greedy little pigs pretending it's love.
Sydney's nails scraped down my back. My skin peeled like tissue.
You bought a piece of me, and now I own you. You disgusting little thing. Let me scrub you.
I woke up alone, soaked, trembling. The soap was gone, the water drained. My skin, smooth, clean, as if nothing had happened. But the mirror told the truth. I wasn't there, only her, sitting in the tub, smiling, mouthing the word.
Next one.
Once upon a time, they called the younger stepsister a goblin, until the day she began chiseling herself into a princess. I used to think that love could forgive anything, even a face like mine. People called me names when I was little. Goblin girl, plump elf, crooked nose freak. I got used to it. I buried myself in books and wrote poems under the sheets at night, stringing together words about a prince I'd never meet. But then he came along, Prince Han. He wrote verses more beautiful than I ever could. I clipped his poems from the Castle Gazette and hid them in a box beneath my bed. I told myself, if someone like him could write like that, then maybe he could also see beyond the surface of things. That hope kept me warm. After my mother passed away, I stayed behind in the manor, living with my stepsister Cinderella. Cinderella was born lovely. Thin lips, pale skin, the kind of effortless beauty that earned glances from strangers before she even spoke. She was kind to me, in the way one is kind to a younger sister. But kindness isn't the same as understanding. When people looked at the two of us, they assumed who was chosen and who was forgotten. Then came the day in the woods. I had only wandered beneath the trees, hoping the quiet might soothe me, when distant laughter broke through the stillness. It was Prince Han and his hunting party, all dressed in silks and boasting about their exploits. One of them asked what kind of girl Han liked, and he didn't even pause.
Sharp angles, wide eyes, lashes like fans, a high nose, porcelain skin, a tiny waist, and a fragile frame. That was the kind of beauty I wanted. And in the end, I was the one who set the standard for this entire kingdom.
Then they laughed, the kind of laughter that feels like teeth. He turned suddenly, his gaze landing on the trees where I crouched behind a trunk. His smile didn't falter.
And of course, only beautiful girls need apply. The ugly ones shouldn't even bother.
They roared again, louder this time, like hunters circling something they never meant to show mercy to. I didn't cry. I went home. That night, I stood in front of the mirror and made a promise. If beauty was the only language the prince understood, then I would learn it. I would speak it fluently. And so I began. Every morning, I pulled my corset so tight that it left raw lines across my belly. I fainted twice before noon during that first week. Then I visited the cosmetic apothecaries in the capital, trading family jewels for syringes, scalpels, and sterile hooks. They molded my face like clay, slicing, stitching, stretching. My nose was clamped in a metal brace until it bled. My lashes were sewn into place with threads so thin it shimmered in candlelight. My jaw was shaved to look sharper. though the pain was unbearable. I clenched my teeth and endured it, whispering to myself that it would all pass, so long as it made me beautiful. I didn't stop eating. I couldn't. But I found another way. There's a trick with tapeworms, you see. You swallow the eggs and they eat for you. Your stomach shrinks and you still feel full. I told myself it was clever. Cinderella saw what I was doing. She begged me to stop, held my wrists as I trembled with pain after a facial nerve spasm.
You don't need to do this.
You were born beautiful. You'll never understand what it means to be told, every day, that you are less than human because of your face. She didn't reply. She just stood there, guilt pressing against her silence. The royal ball arrived. I walked in with a waist as slim as my breath, lips painted in a trembling curve. For once, people stared, no longer with pity or revulsion, but with admiration. Han looked at me and smiled. He asked me to dance. I floated toward the floor on fragile heels, my heart light, as if I were stepping into a dream finally made real. But then she arrived, Cinderella. Her dress shimmered like mist, her presence swallowing every eye in the room. Han turned and I watched his gaze drift, then fix, then hunger. He dropped my hand as if I were never there. He asked her to dance. I stood at the edge, shivering beneath my borrowed beauty, and felt something cave inside me. I fled before the first chord of the waltz. Cinderella chased me home. In her rush, she lost a shoe on the palace steps. Glass, delicate, absurd. Han picked it up, his eyes gleaming with the thrill of a hunter who had just caught the scent of something rare. When Cinderella returned, we argued. Why did you come to the ball dressed like that? Did you want the prince to notice you that badly? You were born beautiful. Why did you have to compete with me too?
I only came to find you.
But I didn't believe her. Not then. Then the door suddenly burst open. Han stood at the threshold, the glass slipper gleaming in his hand.
Whoever fits this will be my bride.
Something in me snapped. I smiled, cold and sharp, and shoved my foot into the glass slipper, but it was far too small. I picked up a carving knife and walked to the front hall. Han didn't flinch. He watched, intrigued as I raised the knife and hacked off my biggest toe. Blood painted the floor like a carpet. I shoved my foot into the shoe. It fit. See? I'm perfect now.
Only 4 toes? Disgusting.
He pushed me away. My chest tightened, and suddenly, all the pain I had endured felt meaningless. Was it all truly for someone like the prince? The tears streamed down my face, unstoppable. Cinderella had picked up the other shoe and slammed it into Han's head. He collapsed. We tied him to a chair in the basement, his mouth gagged, eyes wide with disbelief. He looked at us like we were the monsters.
No more suffering in silence. He'll understand what he made us become.
We began. We used the same tools they'd used on us. Surgical thread, nose clamps, heated bone presses. I kept the iron rods steady as Cinderella quietly sewed his eyelids wider, murmuring poems that sounded all too familiar, perhaps even mine. With each pulled thread, each careful slice along his skin, I saw the echoes of a pain I had once survived. He wept through it all. By the time we were done, his face was grotesque, exaggerated, hollow, warped by the very standards he once worshipped. We didn't stay. We packed the jewelry, wrapped our wounds, and left the kingdom behind. Somewhere far, I hoped, there might be a place where beauty wasn't currency, where people like me didn't have to carve themselves into someone else's fantasy. Cinderella held my hand as we walked, and for the first time, I believed her when she said I was beautiful. Perhaps there was never any true standard of beauty at all. I didn't need to please the prince or anyone else. I only needed to be myself.
I woke up gasping, drenched in sweat, hands clutching my throat like I was choking. It was just a dream. That's what I kept telling myself. But the pain in my neck felt real, like something had been stretched, like I had been hanged and survived. In the dream, my neck had stretched, impossibly long, like an eel gliding through the dark. I floated weightless, led by my own head through the night, past sliding doors and into the garden. That's where I saw them. My husband and a girl, no older than 20. She giggled at something he whispered. He brushed her cheek the way he used to brush mine. And then they kissed, bold and unashamed. Except I was there, or at least my head was. And when he noticed it, my face, my floating head, he screamed and swung his katana. A blur of silver flashed, and I woke up. I sat there, knees drawn to my chest, watching him sleep. His breath was slow, steady, undisturbed, like he hadn't just appeared in my nightmare with another woman. The image still burned behind my eyes. A nightmare, I told myself. A trick of the mind. But deep down, I knew better. That wasn't a dream, it was a warning. In the days that followed, I began to see it. The scent of strange incense on his robes, not the kind I burned for the altar or wore on my sleeves. It lingered, delicate and wrong. One evening, folding his inner kimono, I noticed a faint red smear along the collar. At first, I thought it was crushed plum blossom, but when I touched it, it smeared Benny, lip dye, the kind worn by young courtesans. He laughed when I asked.
Probably from the crowd by the river. Some drunk girl stumbled too close.
But I knew. No one touches a magistrate's robes, not by accident. When I confronted him, he smiled. Not with guilt, but with calm dismissal.
Your mind is too wild. You'll drive yourself mad with superstition. You'll make yourself sick.
Later, I overheard him whispering to his mother, saying I was losing my balance, that I might need rest. She pulled me aside in the garden days later, her hand cold on my wrist.
You mustn't let jealousy consume you. Wear your crimson kimono again. Put on makeup the way he used to like.
I wanted to scream. I wanted to tear my head from my shoulders and fling it at the wall. But I didn't. I bowed. I smiled. I poured tea like a good wife. And every night I dreamed of my neck growing longer, slithering through darkness, creeping toward truth. No one believed me. Not the other women at the market, not the shrine maiden I sought for advice. They all spun the same tale, that I was unstable, that I was unraveling, and he was the victim of a clingy, insecure wife. Then came the night. He was unusually tender. He brought me tea himself, said it was a calming blend from Kyoto.
For your nerves.
He smiled. I should have known. The taste was bitter, unfamiliar, but I drank it anyway, because I still wanted to believe him. I collapsed near the hallway, and from the corner of my fading vision, I saw him, standing over me, watching. Then, darkness. When I awoke, I couldn't move. My arms hung useless, my throat burned. From rope. He had strung me up from the ceiling beam. My body swayed gently, helplessly. I could hear him moving in the other room, opening jars, striking flint. The scent of lantern oil filled the air. He was setting the house on fire. The flames moved quickly, licking through the shoji walls, devouring everything we built. Smoke poured in, thick and choking. My lungs heaved, but the noose bit deeper. I should have died, but I didn't. Not yet. In that moment between fire and breath, I felt something rise in me. A pull, a pressure. My spine cracked, my throat expanded, my neck stretched. It didn't stop, longer and longer. Until my feet touched the floor again, though I still hung. Until the rope no longer choked me, only the memory of it. Drifting upward, my neck snaking through the fire like a silk banner of death. I slipped out of the burning frame, silent and weightless, into the cold night. Later, the neighbors whispered. They said they saw something rise from the fire. A woman's head, a twisting neck, a floating curse. They gave it a name, Rokurakubi. I became a breath beneath the door, a shadow above the futon, a nightmare woven into tatami. I whispered to unfaithful men. I curled my neck through their walls. I watched them shatter one by one. But the man I was looking for, he had vanished. Until that night, I found him in a new town, a new house, a new wife, pregnant. He still wore that smug, gentle face, the one he used when lying, when controlling. He had rebuilt his life. But I had not forgotten. That night, I slipped through the floorboards of their home. She lay asleep beside him, her belly full. He snored softly, unaware. I hovered above him, my neck stretched like a vine, my face inches from his. His eyes opened, and he screamed. He lunged for the katana beneath the futon, the same katana he once threatened me with in silence. He swung, steel met phantom flesh. My head fell to the tatami with a soft thud. Then it turned and smiled, because you cannot kill what you've already murdered. The woman stirred beside him.
What's happening?
My neck began to coil. Around his legs, his waist, his arms, his throat. It slithered tight and then it rotted. Flesh decayed on contact, black veins blooming beneath his skin. His body shuddered. The face on the floor, mine, began to crack. The eyes clouded, the skin peeled, the mouth opened. I looked at them both, his frozen terror, her rising scream, and whispered, I will always come back, because my neck still stretches, and the longer it grows, the closer I get, and you cannot escape your karma.
Life felt like a luxurious dream, each whim effortlessly satisfied by the wealthy men, enchanted by my youthful charm and beauty. Being a sugar baby had its perks: exclusive apartments, designer dresses, first-class vacations, and extravagant gifts. I was admired, pampered, and envied. And whenever a patron failed to fulfill my increasingly lavish desires, I moved swiftly and effortlessly onto the next, my heart untouched, my conscience clear. This time, my target was Kurt, a celebrated fabric collage artist, renowned for transforming simple cloth into mesmerizing works of art. He was a man whose immense wealth far surpassed that of anyone I had ever been with. But more than just buying me expensive things, he spoke to me as if I was something rare, something precious.
Jess, you're my muse. I want to show you something no one else has seen. My sanctuary. Come with me to Paradise Island.
The name itself thrilled me. I imagined private beaches, candlelit dinners, a sun-soaked villa filled with art and opulence. Giddy, I told my best friend about it that same night. Her reaction, however, was not what I expected. She asked, her voice hushed.
Are you sure this is a good idea? I've heard weird things about Kurt. Girls who dated him before. They just disappeared, deleted their socials, cut off everyone.
I laughed it off. Who wouldn't want to disappear from social media when they're actually living it up in some lavish mansion? Ignoring my best friend's warnings, I decided to go with Kurt. The yacht ride to the island filled me with anticipation. And when we finally arrived, I was left almost speechless. The lavish old mansion rose majestically from the lush greenery, like something pulled straight from a dream. It was beyond anything I had imagined. I didn't see the way Kurt watched me from behind, not with affection, but with something colder, more calculating. Inside, the mansion was filled with fabric portraits, hundreds of them, each one a depiction of a woman, crafted from layers of different textiles that somehow captured the unique beauty of every face. They looked startlingly lifelike. I had no idea what kind of fabric Kurt used, but it looked uncannily like real skin. Drawn by curiosity, I stepped closer to one of the pieces and instinctively reached out to touch it.
Please don't. They're very special to me.
I lowered my hand, offering a polite smile. They're stunning. They almost look real.
That's because they are.
I assumed he meant emotionally real, artistically compelling. I didn't question it. The first few days were bliss. Sunbathing, drinking wine on the terrace, long conversations about beauty and inspiration. But then, little things began to unsettle me. While swimming in the pool, I spotted an earring lying at the bottom, delicate, old-fashioned, and completely out of place. At night, I heard tapping on my window, and once when I pulled back the curtains, there was the faint imprint of a hand, smeared and ghostly, pressed against the glass. In the bathroom, the water sometimes ran black for a second before turning clear again. I told Kurt. He smiled calmly.
Old plumbing, tropical animals. Nothing to worry about.
But I was worried, more than worried. I wanted to leave.
Just let me finish your portrait. One more day. Then I'll take you back.
That night, I dreamed of a woman crawling toward me on all fours. Her body twisted, her face missing. She whispered something that chilled me even in sleep.
Get out! Before he gets you too!
I woke up in a cold sweat and packed my bags. I didn't care about the painting or the promise of paradise anymore. I just wanted out. Everything felt terrifying. Nothing about this place was normal. As I crept through the darkened hallway, the portraits on the walls seemed different. Their eyes followed me. Their expressions, once serene, were now pleading. I paused in front of a new painting, one I hadn't seen before. The girl was young, beautiful, her mouth slightly parted like she wanted to scream. It smelled wrong, like rust and something sweet rotting underneath. I reached out despite myself. The canvas felt soft. A lock of real hair fluttered to the ground. The painted skin peeled at my touch, wet, red, and warm. I screamed. Then Kurt was there.
Where are you going, Jess? Your portrait isn't finished.
I turned and ran. I slipped through the nearest door, not caring where it led. All I knew was that I had to get away from Kurt. Every cell in my body screamed that something about him was dangerously wrong. The room was littered with scraps of fabric, but they weren't just ordinary cloth. They had fallen from what was left of bodies. I looked down and saw her, a girl my age, her eyes wide open and unblinking. Her skin had been peeled away in strips, revealing raw muscle and exposed bone. Beside her, her hair was tied neatly in a ribbon, like a prop. Realization crashed over me, shattering every illusion I'd held dear. Kurt hadn't simply immortalized beauty on canvas. He trapped it cruelly within layers of paint, flesh, and agony. All those silent, beautiful girls, forever frozen, were now masterpieces on his walls. Kurt stepped into the room, holding a knife and a sewing needle. He walked to the body and began to work, gently applying her flesh to a canvas, humming as if lost in thought.
She was lovely, but you, Jess, you'll be the masterpiece.
He looked at me with admiration, not malice, as if he truly believed what he said.
You should feel honored to be remembered forever, to never fade.
I backed away, hands shaking. My scream rose and was swallowed by the thick, silent walls. No one knew I was here. No one would come looking. Paradise Island was a graveyard, and soon I'd be another face on the wall, watching, forever silent, forever pleading. Run. While you still can.